Oh, ho, 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 ho. Hey kids, you're about to listen to a comedy podcast. Bo, 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 bo. That means that none of this is medical advice. If you need medical advice or medical care, please contact your doctor. Ho, ho, ho.
Previously on the Jock podcast.
My name's Klompy the Elf.
Okay.
I have come to kind of drop some truth bombs on all of you guys. I don't know if y'all are ready for what I have to say. Santa promised my daddy a good lie, but he was promising my daddy all this stuff, and then there started to be a little bit of a change when my daddy was kind of thinking he wasn't going to go. We started to feel like we needed to get on his sleigh and go with him, or we would regret it. We were made to feel that way.
Threatened.
Subtly.
Yeah. What did he do to make you feel that
He
way?
would just say things like, it sure would be bad if my reindeer obliterated this whole village of all your family. He would say things like that.
Wow.
He would say things like,
I'm sorry to hear
wow,
that.
if you don't get on my sleigh, I would hate to see the carnage, so...
Introducing your host, Dr. London Smith.
Hello, and welcome to the Jock podcast, where we discuss fitness and health and how to incorporate our modern understanding of science and medicine into our daily lives, but without it being so boring. I'm your host, drlondonsmith.com. I would like to begin by apologizing to our listeners. We've received some feedback about the excessive amount of technical medical terms that I've been using, such as acute hemolytic transfusion reactions and good tidings, so I'll try to temper my terminology to a simpler one in the future. Here to help with that is our producer Cameron.
Good morning, Dr. London.
Hey, I guess good morning to you. Is that related to the s'mores you're holding? Well, the graham crackers and whatever that you're holding right now?
No, these are unrelated, and they're not. They are just graham crackers. Those aren't s'mores.
Yeah, I guess.
You have to have like 2 more ingredients for it to be s'mores.
Yeah, I didn't see
Well, the
milk.
trick is about that. People don't know it can be any 2 ingredients.
Okay.
The chocolate marshmallow combination is just the most popular. That because I think it was featured in like Star Wars or a movie or something like that.
Yeah, because...
So you remember like Ewoks or whatever were like roasting s'mores or whatever. But it could be like lasagna and like any sort of ham.
And that one's a cheat one, right?
Cured smoked ham.
You always say that lasagna is the cheat for it because it has so many ingredients in itself already.
Yeah.
That you kind of one up the classic s'mores.
Yeah, I mean, because what's the difference? That Hershey's chocolate bar, look at the ingredients on that thing. It's got sodium bixocate and brown color number 14. It has 1,000 different ingredients. So then why not just put like an entire sandwich, let's say, in between those 2 graham crackers?
Yeah. And so is that what you're making today? Because I see the graham crackers.
Oh, no, you're still wondering about the good schmorning thing?
Yes.
I didn't know if you had figured that out from context clues. No, that's just because I'm trying to start some new Jock Doc holiday traditions.
Like saying good schmorning at this time of year?
Yeah, like that was one. I'm testing all these out and seeing how they're received. You know, I didn't grow up with traditions. Mm-hmm. My dad was always we've talked about this a bit before. You know, my dad worked at the sock factory for the right sock. My mom worked at the sock factory for the left sock.
That's right.
And Christmas Day was one of their busiest days because of how many socks they had to make.
Individually,
yeah. And so most of the day we didn't do caroling or, having a Christmas goose or anything like that. It was mostly just me and my siblings sort of dragging a bunch of stuff outside because we're sort of acting out.
Okay, I thought you were about to say more there. You were acting out.
No, that was it. Yeah,
play?
we would just like push the couch outside and stuff like that. So that when our parents got home, they would know we were really, really pissed off.
Oh, okay.
It's just our way of acting out.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say you normally don't talk about your siblings.
I don't like talking about my childhood or my history that much. I'm not big on talking about me. You know, I like to keep myself private. That's why I don't put a lot of like private information on this show. I try to stay in the background and not talk too much on mic, you know? And, you know, that's definitely built up a reputation of me being sort of like the quiet guy who sits in the corner.
Mm-hmm. The somber,
but anyway, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to make some new holiday traditions.
Okay.
New Christmas traditions. And the first one I've got is Good Schmorning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it doesn't mean anything yet, but it could. Again, I mean, if it... making about s'mores is, I guess, fine.
It's not like the season you...
But it's not s'morning, it's schmorning.
I know, but it, for whatever reason, it made me think of it. Maybe if you say it while holding out a s'more, or maybe you can call it a schmore whenever it's outside of the conventional ingredients.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't sound enthusiastic about that.
No, that sounds like a terrible idea. But I mean, like other traditions, you
have the axe that you're always carrying around ready for a tree or a chair leg.
Yeah. Or just a person's leg that looks like a chair leg.
Yeah. All for the Christmas fire.
And then we can make instead of a Christmas tree, we have a huge Christmas bonfire. But I was going to say, we, you know, also do caroling, but we don't do a lot of the traditional carols. We do like that Cobra Starship song that's like, I make them good girls go bad. Mm-hmm. That has Leighton Meester on it.
Yeah.
So that one we do a lot.
With the family?
Well, no, I mean, this is just the new tradition.
Oh,
so,
for us.
Yeah, with the family, with us. So that's one of my new ones. You know, I would say maybe instead of watching like a traditional Christmas movie, one that could be ours, could be maybe one of the Faces of Death movies.
I'm not familiar. I feel like the title would kind of push me away from that.
Oh yeah, it was just a series of sort of like snuff type of films that were kind of fake from like the 70s.
Okay. And so you think that should
80.
be...
I honestly don't really know. But that's going to be the fun of it being a tradition. But I do know it supposedly shows a lot of people dying and like animals dying and stuff.
Okay. Yeah,
so
maybe
it's sort of like it's the end of the year, so like that's dying off to birth something new, which is the New Year's baby.
Do you have a New Year's baby, or is that a metaphor?
No, just like in pop culture, like there'll be like a New Year's baby, you know?
Yeah, you always hear people saying, "Oh, here the New Year's. It's almost it's almost January. Time for that New Year's baby." We all.
Yeah, well, it's the depiction of the previous year as an old man, and the next year as a baby.
Okay, well that's anyway. So that was our producer Cameron. Also with us is Digital in the house.
Good morning, Dr. London.
Good morning, Dr. London. I'm trying to start some new Jock Dog holiday tradition.
Like saying good morning at this time of year?
Yes.
Good morning, Dr. London.
Good morning, Dr. London.
And later, Cameron tells me that we have a special returning guest, one that we haven't seen since last year. Correct?
That's right, Dr. London.
Yes.
Let's just say I brought back one of the faves.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
Well, like
Don't make me say more.
If it's from this specific time last year, then I think our listeners would know who it's going to be.
Yes.
Do you want me to? Okay.
That it's.
So
you think they are going to think that it's Mr. Soapy again?
No, Was Mr. Soapy not a favorite?
Mr. Soapy has been very controversial in the Jock Doc fan community.
Because of the whole bombing. Yeah. Anyway.
Not from the episode, but more the fallout from the episode.
Mm-hmm. And I don't want
to... Those incidents. We don't need
to
talk
get
about
too
it,
far
and
into
we're
it
technically
for any new
not
listeners.
allowed to talk about it.
Legally.
Yeah.
But if you want to hear that episode, it was Mr. Soapy, Mr. Drain, I think were the guests. Anyway, before we move on, I would like to address a bit of listener feedback. So I found this note spelled out in stringed lights across the roof of a house when I was driving past. So this note reads, quote, "Can you ask your sister to return my casserole dish? We are not on speaking terms. She knows why. I need that dish." End quote. So, first of all, to this listener, thank you for reaching out to us here at the Jock Talk Podcast. To answer your question, sure. I guess I could go ahead and pass on that word to my sister. But I guess my question here would be, why did you communicate this with the lights on your house rather than texting me or something? That's what, I guess, to me, that's the odd part.
Do you think it's COVID concerns that's keeping from returning the dish?
Could be. I mean, I know a lot of people are having difficulties with, people who really are trying to be cautious, are, keeping their distance from anyone that could harm them or that they could harm by transferring anything. So
yeah, and does the person who has the dish right now? Is this is your...
My sister has the dish.
And has she been like acting really funny lately? Like acting really sick?
Yeah, she like really, like hilarious. Yeah.
She's been sick, like hilarious?
Yeah, she said anything funny. Yeah. Kind of cool, kind of.
Oh.
Yeah, she's been trying stand up, I guess is.
Yeah. But has she been like vomiting or...
No.
Has she been pale or have a fever?
So she doesn't contact me when she gets sick. That's a policy of hers.
Oh, okay.
So.
And when was the last time she talked to you?
Well, it's been a few years now.
Okay, yeah. So she's really sick. That's why she hasn't returned the
casserole dish.
The dish, yeah.
Okay. Well, then
you should really do something about that as a doctor. I feel like that's your ethical responsibility to help out.
I just, I'm so busy, and it's like, if I get a text from her, sure, then I'll try to, whatever, but like, I'm just pretty busy.
Yeah, it's true. With the holidays and everything,
yeah.
You'll never find time to see your sister.
Yeah, not my family. All right, anyway, so to this listener, thank you for listening. Now for today's medical topic, radiation pneumonitis. Radiation pneumonitis is a condition of interstitial pulmonary inflammation resulting from radiation exposure. So it occurs in 5 to 15% of patients who undergo thoracic irradiation for lung cancer, breast cancer, lymphoma, or thymoma. Morbidity and mortality are related to the irradiated lung volume, dose, patient status, and concurrent chemotherapy. So basically...
How am I supposed to come up with another pneuma thing?
Are you talking about the last week's?
So on last week's medical lesson, because I have to be able to like spin this and put my 2 cents into the medical lesson.
Do you though?
We talked mostly about the pneuma guy, because you're talking about pneuma disease and if that guy was born like that or not.
Pneumonitis.
But I just assumed we were done with the pneuma stuff. So now there's like a whole nother thing.
So pneumonitis, the itis refers to, inflammation, the pneuma refers to the lungs. So this is radiation induced.
Yeah, pneumonitis.
Yes, So just to clarify, Cameron, you don't ever have to feel obligated to jump in on these medical lessons. I feel like it takes away from them because the listeners are just trying to learn medicine for this podcast.
Listeners are trying to learn whatever I tell them they're trying to learn. That's the power we have. We're in control. So we can, it's medical because we decided it's medical. This could be a podcast about go-karts next week if we wanted to. We're in control.
Yeah,
We control our listeners like the little puppets that they are.
Yes.
Okay, well, at least on my end, I want to just teach medicine if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. That's easier for me. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah. So anyway, in radiation pneumonitis, the acute form occurs
Oh, like the Pneuma guy? Ah, dang it. I did all of that.
the radiation.
Okay, go ahead.
The acute form occurs 1 to 6 months after irradiation. The chronic form develops 1 to 2 years later and is characterized by alveolar thickening and pulmonary fibrosis. Patients may present with low-grade fever, cough, chest fullness, dyspnea, and that's difficulty breathing, and pleuritic chest pain, hemoptysis, that's coughing up blood, and even acute respiratory distress. So,
well, you know who didn't have difficulty breathing was the Pneuma guy doing that video for a full
it was a while.
3.5
Yeah.
minutes. Oh, I'm not supposed to talk about the Pneuma guy at all, right? Because that was from an old episode.
Look, I don't. Once again, I'm just teaching a medical lesson. I don't know how to.
There's nothing else for me to grab onto. You say acute. I've definitely already done stuff on that.
Yeah, so if my
I think like a few times.
if my object was to have you interrupt me,
I'm supposed to spice it up. That's the whole point of this show.
Yeah, I know that.
Is that you present this boring Wikipedia article, and then I come in, and then I basically shoot a shotgun of excitement into the article you're reading.
Okay, so we're pretty close to being done here, so I'm just gonna go over imaging. So on imaging, the chest X-ray is usually normal. CT scan, however, that would be the best study. CT, and that's like the CAT scan, that's computed tomography scan. It would likely
Maybe Cameron time. Oh no, I've definitely done Cameron time.
Yeah, it would likely reveal diffuse infiltrates, which is the hallmark of this disease. Ground glass density, patchy,
Hallmark,
homogeneous,
consolidation. Hallmark.
Uh-huh.
It's Christmas cards, right? How come all the Christmas cards for your grandparents are always those little cartoons now? What happened to the ones that just said, "Hey, Grandma"? Now they're just always little cartoons, like little old ladies telling some joke about drinking wine or whatever.
Okay, now for our listeners, this is a portion of Cameron's stand-up routine that he's been trying to find a way to work into the... I'm surprised it hasn't worked its way into medical lessons really thus far.
Oh, my stand-up
Yeah.
stuff? Yeah. Well, I have a tight 5 it's roughly like 13 minutes long because it's different every time.
Yeah, well, this is part, if I'm not mistaken, this is part of your 6-hour special.
It's part of a special, but which is itself part of a larger whole, which is sort of a cinematic universe of my stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
So to say it's a 6-hour special, well, no, it's really a chapter in a much larger special of my career, which is 30 some odd years long.
Okay. So, in any case, we're, on imaging, patients can also see there can be patchy homogeneous consolidation, pleural or pericardial effusions. Once again, the CT scan is excellent for detecting recurrent cancer in the irradiated area. So, CT scan, computed tomography is what you're going to want to use there. And the treatment of choice for this would be corticosteroids.
So imagine the Pneuma guy, right, on steroids. So that's something.
Okay, and I wasn't gonna give, because I don't want to give away your special, but the Pneuma guy, once again, very big part of your stand-up.
Oh yeah, and he's in it.
Oh yeah, you got him.
He comes back and he does a concert in the special, full concert.
Because he's lip syncing for it, right? In the video. But
yeah.
This time you've got him actually performing.
Yeah, I mean, it's still lip syncing.
But it's just...
Lots of pop stars like lip sync at their shows, but they still perform.
Okay, yeah. All right, well...
So it's just the Pneuma guy.
All right, well, we can...
And that takes up that's about an hour and a half of the...
Yeah, your nap
6-hour
time.
special.
All right. Well, we can move on from there, if that's all right.
Yeah.
All right, so our guest today is actually a returning guest that goes by the name of Klompy the Elf. And last time she was here, she exposed Santa for enslaving and mistreating the elves.
Yes.
It has been a full year, so there was some mention of starting a revolution, and now we've been...
Yeah, we need to check in on this. I want to hear some more about this.
So the thing is, we've been so caught up in the human rights issues and here in the States. We don't always keep up with news from the North Pole. So
yeah, not as much as we should.
Yeah. So anyway, here is Klompy. Hey, nice to have you back, Klompy.
Hey, Dr. London. Hey, Cameron. Good to see y'all.
Hi, nice to see you.
Wow.
Hey.
You seem in a chipper mood.
Oh, well, how could I not be? I mean, the sun is shining, the birds are singing, and the birds aren't the only thing that's singing, let me tell you.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
I'm here to release my single. My
like a musical?
debut album is coming out. It's been a long journey to get here, and now's the time to release it, so.
Okay. So is this a side thing, like sort of aside your normal elf work, but also, last time you came on, you were talking as sort of an activist.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something you're still doing?
Well, yeah, things have kind of taken a turn for me, and I've kind of gone down a different path. So let's just, I'm actually just here to mostly talk about my singles, so let's just go ahead and cue it up. DJ Dylan, this is the world premiere.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
Merry Christmas.
Attention to my haters in this month of December. Check my list 1, 2, I'm trying to remember. Everything you said about me all in the blogs ain't really been affecting me, just sipping eggnog. Like in paparazzi thinking I got secrets to sell. All I know is my man, he been treating me well. Santa got me shining like a diamond. Santa got me glistening like a gem. All I really need to know now is, could you ever forgive me all my sins? I'm so sorry about what I said, baby, and about what I did. 'Cause when I see things from your way, baby, I know you've got lots to give. Santa got me shining like a diamond. Santa got me glistening like a gem. Santa pulling up outside the studio. He's bringing me a reindeer skin. Dasher, Dancer, Blitzen, Cupid, me and Santa acting stupid. You already know that Klompy gets her way. You already know what's going down in the sleigh like.
Wow.
Wow,
Brand new! Brand new!
That was new. That sounds a lot different from what I remember.
That's right, it is brand new.
Yeah, I meant more like new as in just a lot of what it sounds like your opinions are of, I guess, your situation, yourself, your relation to Santa.
Oh yeah, things have never been better for me, honestly.
Yes, and I know you're here to promote. So I guess first you can tell us about what are you trying to say with this song?
I'm kind of just trying to let my haters know things are good for me. Stop trying to drum up negativity. I'm kind of on a positivity wave, and I'm trying to address the haters and say,
Your haters are your motivators.
Mm-hmm.
quit hating on my come up, okay?
Yeah. You're getting a lot of haters these days?
It's just a lot of people like, don't you remember your Uncle Chumpy?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you remember what happened in the war? Don't you remember who Santa really is? I'm like, Daddy, you're just hating on my come up. Santa's not who you guys thought he was and who I thought he was.
So most of your haters are relatives, is that right?
Yeah, they're always saying, Klompy, don't you remember? Can't you remember everything that he put us through? It hasn't changed. He's still enslaving us. We still don't get any breaks. And I'm like, well, he is different. Just because he doesn't seem different to you doesn't mean he's not different.
Huh.
He's changed. He's totally different to me. Just because they choose to stay in that negative headspace doesn't mean that I have to be dragged down into the pit of hell with them. So I'm just trying to say, haters, come on now.
Well, and it's not even just having a positive attitude. I mean, you not only has your opinion changed on Santa, but now you're making songs that are, I mean, sort of propaganda for him. I feel like that's a huge 180 from last year.
I wouldn't say propaganda at all, no. Everything that Santa's done for me, I mean, I can't help but shout it from the rooftops. He's the one paying for my career, for my tour.
Just to try to get to, I guess, find out where your headspace is and track from where you were to where you are now. The last time we spoke to you, you wanted us to gather all the people of the world and weapons and fire and go to Siberia to fight Santa in the war, in a revolution.
Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of making me laugh too. Hearing you laugh. Okay.
But it was because the genocide,
What's so
right? That was the big problem in the enslavement.
I just remember how naive I used to be, and it just...
Maybe maybe instead of trying to ask you, maybe we can go through these lyrics. Maybe there'll be some clues to find out, like, a little bit of your thought process here.
I would like to focus on the music if we could.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like a behind the scenes, like a behind the music type of thing, which will be hopefully a treat for your fans. I mean, you're talking about your haters. I assume you've got some fans too, right, Klompy?
Pretty much anyone who's a fan of Santa at this point is a fan of Klompy.
Wow.
Oh, okay, by default.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it should be an easy transition then.
Honestly, you should think about maybe putting your EP in his bag so that he can kind of hand it out to everyone he gives gifts to come Christmas Day.
We're kind of more working with the YouTube people that send their albums directly to the iPod. We're more on that type of technology.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that's a little old school to send them physical EPs.
I mean, what would they play it on?
Oh yeah, devices.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's look at some of these lyrics that you said. So you said, attention to all my haters this month of December. That makes sense. Most of us could say that.
Yes.
Check your list.
Yeah.
Trying to remember. Everything you said about me in all the blogs ain't really affecting me. I'm sitting agnostic. What were people saying in the blogs?
Well, it's kind of been like, what do I do if my daughter's been brainwashed?
Okay, so this is your mother.
Yes.
Your mother's blog.
And trying to gain support. I'm just like, I don't understand why they choose to stay in a negative headspace. We've moved on. We have a record deal. We've got a tour around the world with Santa. I mean, I just am ready to leave that in the past.
Just to speak to how someone can stay in a negative headspace, some people, whenever your world changes, whenever your perspective changes, sometimes their perspective and their world may remain so unchanged that, that their worldview doesn't have a reason to switch like yours has.
That's on them.
Yeah, well, it sounds like maybe, and this is just a guess here, that maybe your circumstances changed drastically, which I think was revealed a little bit in the lyrics here. It happened in such a way as to make you maybe no longer enslaved.
Yeah, it sounds like Santa signed you to his record label. Is that about right?
My positive choices changed my circumstances.
Well, okay, so what led to you getting... So Santa is funding this tour and this album and this music. You've referenced that a number of times. So how did that even come about? Like, how did Santa sign you? Did you go to him with this music, or did he... I mean, how did you get signed?
He listened to the last podcast, and he called me in, he met with me, he started meeting with me 7 days a week, which was actually kind of a paradigm shift for me a little bit because elf weeks are only 5 days. And so,
wow.
First of all, when he revealed, actually, weeks are 7 days, and you're going to be with me 7 days a week, meeting and discussing things, I kind of started seeing things a different way, and so...
Okay. So increased exposure to a given culture that you had previously demonized, whenever you had some sort of intimate encounter with it, it meaning in this case, Santa and his world, it forced you to have a changed perspective, which, a lot of people can benefit from being around people who they previously thought ill of without really understanding them. So I do see some validity to that approach.
And he had some wonderful cookies.
Oh, okay.
And I would just kind of eat these cookies and kind of, suddenly I really started to see everything kind of differently. And
Yeah.
Okay.
that's just kind of been the positive wave I've been riding ever since. And so I'm just kind of letting my haters know, like, bye-bye kind of thing.
Yeah, and your haters who are mostly your parents. But I wanted to ask a little bit about, so how are things for everyone else? Like your family seems to be mad about this. How are their conditions and livelihood? Are they also, living in glamour like you're doing right now, touring the world?
They still choose to live in a 5-day week. And in a 5-day week mindset.
Yeah.
And that's because they work 5 days a week.
Are you sure that that's a choice for them? Could they choose not to work that much or have that mindset?
They still need to pay for their, living quarters and their soup. Yeah.
Whereas you didn't have to keep paying for those? Or I'm wondering what separates you from them.
Well, it sounds like Santa... I think we can just find this out from the lyrics, Dr. London. It says right here, all I know is my man, he be treating me well. Santa got me shining like a diamond. Santa got me glistening like a gem. All I really need to know now is, could you ever forgive me of my sins? So it sounds like you've been hanging out with Santa a lot, Klompy. Like a lot. Is there is he your man?
Is this romantic?
Are y'all together?
Well, here's the thing.
'Cause he's got a wife, right? They've been married, for like 1,000 years.
Right, that's what I was about to say. So the thing with Santa's wife is actually she's immortal. She is a mortal. So that means, she kind of starts getting older. His current wife is about 99 years old.
Oh, so there's been a lot of Mrs. Clauses?
Correct.
Okay.
So here's the thing. She doesn't really know what's going on anymore. She's kind of just in her room. She's kind of just older,
Yeah.
So she's had a decline in cognitive function.
She probably has dementia. She has no clue what's happening.
Yes.
That's so sad to hear.
Well, that's just kind of something that, human women have to sign up for when they marry Santa and take on the Mrs. Claus.
Yeah. It really should be more of a job for an immortal being.
I'm thinking so.
But well, I mean, elves, if I remember correctly, they only live, 700 years, which isn't a small amount necessarily, but it's certainly not immortal either.
With the current technology and the current medical knowledge
That's true.
that you're working with, yes.
Okay.
We don't know what the tech's going to be like 700 years from now.
And I can't get into it too much, but Santa's working with the highest tier people you could possibly imagine. He's Santa.
Yes.
Yeah, he sounds like he's a pretty, connected guy, for sure.
Yeah, which I would expect.
He's got me on this world tour.
Yeah, and I mean, for him to be able to even get a world tour during COVID, when, Beyonce can't get one going, no one can, that alone is huge. So, I mean, he must have paid a pretty penny for this. He must, really believe in your message.
Something else that Santa's done that a lot of people are not giving him credit for is Santa made the most ventilators out of any country on Earth.
Wow.
So you do have to give him that.
Yeah. No, and I don't think that that's really the issue. I guess for me, it's still, the war crimes that you mentioned the last time you were on the show. Now I recognize your relationship to Santa has changed, but is the genocide still a problem? I know even in your song you mentioned, the very creatures that he used to commit the genocide, which was the reindeer, that he brought you reindeer skin. I don't know if that was a way of apologizing and saying that he's done with that life. Could you shed any light on that? What those lyrics meant?
He made me a reindeer skin jacket that I wanted. Because I really didn't like one of the reindeer, if I'm being honest with you.
Who did he make it out of? This is a Jock Doc exclusive.
Vixen.
Ooh. The bad boy.
So, okay, because you definitely the last time you were on the podcast, you were so afraid of these reindeer. You were making it sound like being in their presence would be the most terrifying thing of your life. And now you're talking pretty casually about them and just saying that, you didn't even want them to be, gotten rid of or anything. It's just that you wanted their skin for a jacket. And I'm just trying to understand, once again, this transition from one way of thinking to now.
I think, I have almost a guess here, if you don't mind. Reading the lyrics as well. And I have questions about this because we need specifics. But it does say, we don't want to skip over it, could you ever forgive me of my sins? I'm so sorry about what I said, baby, and about what I did. I can presume I'm so sorry about what I said is probably what you said on this podcast, right? Which is why he called you.
And by the way, very excited to have another listener. So great. Thank you for introducing it to Santa.
But I got to ask, it says, because when I see things from your way, baby, what does that mean? Seeing things his way. What is that? What does that
look like?
It looks like living in abundance and living in glamour and dripping in jewels and getting to go on expensive trips to Fiji, and those are the types of things that we like to discuss. That's how he sees life.
He sees life through having immense wealth. Is that?
And going on holiday around the world.
And just getting things done that need to be gotten done. I mean, he gets things done. That's all that I can say, really.
What does that mean? What kind of stuff is he
getting done?
Whatever he needs to, that's what he gets done. I really am not comfortable talking about all that. I really just want to focus on the music here.
Yeah, so, and once again, I feel like we are very focused on the music. But, given that maybe these lyrics aren't comfortable for you, what are whenever you do this music, whenever you perform, are the proceeds going towards maybe helping your family or helping those, who are enslaved, maybe helping bring them out of the, that, as you said, that headspace.
Yeah, what would they need to do to get on your vibe, your positive vibes? Like, what does that mean in a practical sense?
They would just need to start living in abundance and start living a conquering life and start, dripping in jewels and glistening like gems.
Yeah, like courageous thoughts and ideas. So, it sounds like your whole perspective now is defined by having a lot of money, by having means. And it sounds like your problem with your family is that they do not have means, and so they will not understand. Do you think maybe you could share with them some of this wealth?
No, because it's not really my wealth to give. I can kind of share my way of thinking, and that is positivity, and that is moving forward, and that is leaving, the ugly and the gross in the past. And I can kind of leave, staring at the problem all the time. I can leave that in the past, and they can too.
So you say it's not yours to give, but I'm referring specifically to the revenue that you generate from your pop music tour.
So I don't handle the money. I kind of let Santa pay, and I just kind of let him move the money around.
He's your money guy.
So I can just focus on the art.
Yeah. So he sort of function as a guardian of sorts too, like takes care of your money, tells you what you can and cannot do, where you can and cannot go.
I wouldn't word it like that, but
How would you word it?
Me and Santa have to make a lot of agreements for me to live this a certain way. That's how I would put it. I mean, if you're in a partnership.
Yeah, that is a very positive way to put it, for sure. Which you're all about.
That's what I'm all about nowadays.
So, I mean, what's next for this amazing new career?
Just gonna be putting out some more songs and keep touring around the world, and we'll see if we find life on other planets. I might start touring over there.
Is that something you guys are actively doing, or are you talking about in a hypothetical sense, like if someone discovers that there are aliens, or is this are y'all searching for aliens?
We have many partners. Elon Musk.
I don't know what you mean by that.
You don't know what we mean?
You have many partners that are aliens?
Partner, we're kind of just a part of a big think tank. Honestly, you guys don't even need to really know about that. We just need to focus on the music.
Okay,
well,
I get that. Dasher, Dancer, Blitzen, Cupid, me and Santa, acting stupid. You already know that Klompy gets her way. What is Klompy's way?
Yes, what is Klompy's way?
Abundance. Positivity. Forward thinking. Diamonds, gems. Trips to Fiji.
Okay.
Trips to the Rocky Mountains. Right after Fiji.
Yes.
For a weekend.
Okay, so gets her way, you mean this is just the exact same thing that you've been saying the whole song, which is just get vacations.
And gems, and
gems,
Louboutins, and my career.
Okay, well,
Things are going good for Klompy when I started using the power of positive thought.
yeah.
Yeah, it does sound like your newfound attitude and friendship with the old man in the North Pole has definitely benefited you
with already
quite a
getting
bit.
down in the sleigh, like ho ho ho. But it's just friendship.
Yes.
I wouldn't.
That's what's going down in the sleigh.
I wouldn't say that.
All right, well, I feel like we went through your song, and I feel like we got as in depth with the lyrics as we can.
But I mean, No, I can't get over this though, Dr. London. So you're with Santa, but has he stopped his more violent tendencies from the past? Have you tried to get him to stop?
I haven't seen that behavior from him.
Well, you told us about watching at his command the reindeer, destroying, I think obliterate was the term you used. All the family that would not say yes to leaving the South Pole to go to the North Pole. Your uncle.
Was them not saying yes just a lack of positivity? Is that what he was doing? Was just trying to eliminate the negativity?
Santa gets things done, and he moves forward, and he's moving us to a new future. So Santa gets things done. That's all that I need to say.
He's moving. Wait, when you say us, are you talking about you and the elves, or are you talking about us as like humanity? Is Santa taking over the world or something?
Well, how many people believe in Santa? How many people worship Santa?
Oh, on Earth? I mean,
several
7
people,
billion,
yeah.
Right?
Well, I don't really have to say much after that, huh?
Nope.
Maybe stop being a little Facebook sheeple, and maybe start thinking for yourselves, like the elves.
Wait, you mean like the elves as in just you, or like the elves as in your enslaved family?
Klompy, do you have a role in the stuff Santa does now? Like on the field? Are you a ranking military member in Santa's army now?
Mostly I just like to stick with the music. And I mostly like to discuss the music.
Okay. Cameron, I feel like we're not going to get much more out of her.
I feel like, but it does, I'm really worried that I don't want to live in the North Pole, and it does sound like Santa's trying to make the whole world like a North Pole place or something.
Yeah, it does sound like...
Or he's going to kidnap us and take us there.
Well, it sounds like anyone who resists will be made to...
Yeah, we're seen as the past that they're looking forward beyond.
Yeah, but, look, and I hate to do it, but we got to get these chores done.
Oh, yeah, we got to do the chores.
Cameron, do you want to explain the chore wheel for our listeners?
Yeah, sure. So, for any new listeners that we might have, Dr. Linden and I have been neglecting our chores, our to-do list, for a really, really long time now, and it's kind of piled up into this huge list. So I created this wheel, this chore wheel that has everything that we've got to do, and every week we've just been spinning it, and then whatever it lands on, we have to do, even if we don't want to do it. And so, Klompy, will you help us out with today's chore, whatever it is?
Sure.
Okay, and do you want to actually give it an old spin?
All right. Ugh, not this one. But at the same time, I know that this is probably the time to do it.
Yeah, and considering we put this on here last year, we're also sort of having to make up for not doing this last year.
Okay, so
too.
Yeah, for our listeners, we have some last minute Christmas shopping to do. That's the chore.
We all have, including Klompy. Mm-hmm. We all have, because Klompy was with us last year when we put this chore on our list.
That's right.
We all have relatives that, look, I'm going to be honest, I forget about. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to think about every single relative every single holiday. I'm busy. I have a lot of things to feed.
Yeah. And they'll rise up if you don't.
Yeah. They get pissed.
And organized.
So we got to get gifts. So I figured we can probably help each other pick some gifts. So I mean, Dr. Linden, who do you gotta get a gift for?
Well, I mean, I guess it's kind of a normal thing, but like, so for me, the one that I forgot, and I'm sure she'll remember that I forgot, but it's my great aunt Listeria. So my great aunt Listeria, she always wants a very specific gift. It has to be made of, like a porcelain thing. It has to be that. And beyond that, I really don't. I know that she loves pepper spray. She loves pepper spray. So
she likes using it on people, or she just likes the idea of it?
Well, I know she puts it on her food. And
okay.
Yeah.
So it's like a flavoring.
Well,
thing
it's that,
for her.
but also like she has posters, like all the, like, how some beverages will advertise all over, all their posters for their brands. She has that, but for pepper spray brands all over her house.
Yeah, or like people might have in their homes like a really old beer ad or like an old cigarette ad from like the 30s or something.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. You're saying she has pepper spray ads.
Pepper spray ads everywhere. And so like it's honestly one of those things where if you don't get her a pepper spray themed porcelain thing, and you can't get her the same thing someone else got, she'll mark you down. And the thing is, there's an inheritance there, so you really can't blow it off.
You're kind of dependent on.
I mean, I'm not dependent, but
her.
like
it'd be nice.
You'd be stupid not to.
Maybe you'd get to travel the world with Santa and Klompy here a little bit, help them on their initiatives.
Yeah, well, I don't know if our missions would cross over, but anyway, so Klompy, I don't know if you can help me with this either, because I know you have some experience in gift construction and finding.
Well, I guess I can kind of just cheat because I do have access to Santa's laptop. I can just look it up and see what she actually does want.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you could do that, that'd make it easy. I mean, I assume.
Okay, it looks like, what was her name again?
My great aunt Listeria.
Okay. She wants the porcelain pepper spray enema.
Okay.
I mean, that's pretty close to what I was going to suggest in the first place.
Well, you were, before I started describing what you would want?
No, before Klompy looked it up.
Oh, okay. Because you have been...
I was going to say a pepper spray shower from a porcelain shower head.
Yeah. So it was just the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, thank you, Klompy. I guess I'll go ahead and, look that up. All right. And, Klompy, do you want to go next?
I can't figure out what to get my boyfriend's mom.
Okay.
Is your boyfriend's mom still
The
alive?
thing with her is that she's immortal.
Oh, right.
So she has everything, and she also has transcended out of her physical self and is now kind of more of a light being.
Those are tough to shop
So-
for.
It's hard to figure out.
So probably not clothes, right?
I think it would just burn.
Jewelry, yeah. That's
I thought about a shade of lipstick, but people are so particular about that.
Yeah, she wouldn't even like it.
What about a prism? I know light can travel through prisms.
That's an interesting take.
Yeah, because if she likes to travel, then there you go.
I mean, that also could hurt, right?
I don't interact with immortal beings of light as often as you might assume.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. Can I ask real quick, what does she do for fun?
Exists.
I can't
I
relate
think the
there.
prism might actually be a good idea then, yeah.
Okay. So that'd be my recommendation is prism.
It maybe make it holiday, make it a holiday prism, like a Santa prism.
Poinsettia. Prism.
Well, I was just saying, like maybe like Santa could be on it, which for her would sort of function as like a framed picture, because it would be for her son.
Yeah. Does that seem adequate, Klompy? Does that seem like it'll work?
Sure.
Cameron, what's yours?
So I have to get a gift for my dog sitter's dog sitter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I didn't get him anything at all last year. Or the year before. I've forgotten for a number of years, and it's kind of making it awkward. I've had to avoid parties and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I cannot imagine being in your shoes.
Yeah, so, I mean, the only things I really know about him are that he's 11 feet tall, and he's worth $74 billion.
11 feet tall, $7 million. Does he like dogs? Would be a big question for me.
No, I think he hates dogs.
Okay. So we can roll that.
Like, my dog sitter uses him, but he tells me to not use him.
Okay.
He's like, I wouldn't use him, man. Like, I do, but you gotta use me still. So it does make it sound like maybe he kind of hates dogs.
Yeah. Okay, so I probably avoid getting something dog related.
Yeah.
But for an 11-foot tall,
which the opposite of get dog related would be to get something cat related, maybe.
I mean, I don't know that it's necessarily the opposite. It's just, but yeah, usually someone's going to be either dog or cat person or no animal person. But 7 feet tall and $7 billion. It sounds like
11 feet tall.
Sorry.
And 74 billion.
74 billion. Okay, I'm sorry. I definitely missed that. So with someone who has such immense wealth and height,
it's so hard to buy for.
Well, I would think that you have to get something that's more sentimental, more aimed at what you know about the person.
So like more like a creative gift.
Yes.
Rather
than a store-bought.
Well, I do have a picture of him. I've only met this guy, I mean, like 2 times, like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
So I've got a picture of him, but not like of us together. It's sort of he's in the background of another picture.
Well, it's just his legs, right?
Of our mutual friend.
It's
just his legs and his torso, and I sort of have to crop them out of it. So it really it looks like a zoomed in pair of legs is what it essentially is.
Okay, no, that's something to work with though. Okay. So,
Klompy, do you have any ideas?
First thing that was coming to my mind is you could use the picture as kind of a template to sew him a pair of hand-tailored pants. I'm sure as an 11-foot man, it's very difficult to find pants the length that he needs them. And like we were saying earlier, he has everything, so it seems like you putting in the effort to learn how to sew, learn about fabrics, it'll take you a couple years to become a master seamstress.
And then to sew the pants of an 11-foot tall man.
That's just the immediate first thing that came to my mind.
Oh, this is really good. Okay, so we're going to use both things here, the picture and making the pants. I'm going to spend the next 11 years of my life training to be a master seamstress. And I'm going to make him probably the most comfortable pair of pants that has ever existed.
Yes.
And
you could probably even grow the cotton.
I'm going to harvest the cotton myself.
yeah, you have time.
Then what we're going to do is, when people like recreate old pictures that they took, like it'll be a picture of it'll be them as a kid with a puppy, and then they recreate it like years later with them as an adult with the dog. Mm-hmm. We can sort of do the same thing.
Yeah.
Where I recreate this picture that I had to zoom in on, and it's just a picture of his legs, but with the new pants that I just made for him.
Yeah, that sounds like it would really be something. Because, yeah, people love those recreated pictures.
I love
people
it.
do love that. And that's giving him the gift of, joining in on a viral sensation, assuming that...
Oh, it'll be huge on Reddit, assuming Reddit is still around.
Yeah, in 11 years.
In 11 years, yeah. In 2031.
Yeah. Well, that sounds fantastic. I don't... Honestly, my idea feels so short-sighted at this point. to...
No, both of y'all contributed.
Yeah.
Everyone helped. This was great.
All right. So, I guess that's all of our chores done for today. Well, all of our chores.
That's it.
All right. So I guess I'll just pull back, because to put this chore wheel back today, we have to wind this up. Okay. And stretch this back.
You need help with pushing the thing?
Well, honestly, it's more that... So I got the hedge clippers here, and I'm going to just...
Yep.
Okay.
Ow!
Yep. And it's done. It's done. Okay. So that's
It
the...
got me a little bit, but okay.
That's the chore wheel. All right. So I feel like that's a good time to kind of bring this to a close. We've learned a lot about, Klompy's new headspace and her single. All right, so thank you, Klompy, for being on the show.
Okay, well, bye.
Okay. Also, thank you to Cameron. Thank you to Digital in the House.
Listeners are trying to learn whatever I tell them they're trying to learn. That's the power we have. We're in control.
We're in control.
That's the power we have. We're in control. We control our listeners like the little puppets that they are.
Abundance. Positivity. Forward thinking. Diamonds, gems, trips to Fiji.
My name is Dr. LondonSmith.com, and this has been the Jock Podcast.
See ya.
Abundance. Positivity. Forward thinking. Diamonds, gems, trips to Fiji.
Okay, well, bye. Your shopping bags bulge outward from the pressure of their contents. You do not regret your purchases, though. Sure, the guy in the alley seemed kinda shady, but he promised you the good stuff. You walk along coyly, secretly proud of the adoring glances from the people in the street. Adoring and, well, let's face it, jealous. Yes, these are some fine shopping bags. The best you can get in these parts, the hooded man said. The only catch, he added, is that they would be filled with something odd at first. But as long as you drop the packages off at the locations he wrote on a small wadded up piece of paper, these bags were free. For a moment you became worried at the red liquid that was currently oozing out. But then you remembered what the man had said. Red ooze comes out of all fancy shopping bags. Hadn't you noticed? You hadn't. But you also did not want to embarrass yourself in front of the kind stranger, so you nodded along. Now, as you drop off the package at various dumpsters throughout the city, you can't help but feel proud of yourself for rising up out of mediocrity like this. Wow, fancy shopping bags. Speaking of rising up out of mediocrity, don't forget to leave a 5-star review of the Jock Podcast, in which you share about the times when you have unknowingly transferred packages of severed parts throughout the city. And consider supporting us by becoming a patron on the Jock Podcast Patreon. And while you're at it, go ahead and share the Jock Podcast with a friend or foe. You can send them a link to your favorite episode, or just send them our handy website, jockdocpodcast.com. We are at Jock Podcast. Thanks for listening.